Now it is time for us to begin our special seminar in May. Today's speaker is Professor Sueki Fumihiko from Japan. He is a professor of International Research Center for Japanese Studies. For a long time, he was a professor of Tokyo University. His main field of research is Buddhism in Japan. His representative books are History of Japanese Buddhism and Reconsidering Modern Thought in Japan. Today's topic of his presentation is the public sphere and the other, from the standpoint of Japanese thought. Now, let me introduce Professor Sueki Fumihiko.
Thank you for a kind introduction, Professor Lee. And thank you for inviting me to such an important and interesting meeting. My paper has 7 sections. So the first section, the collapse of public universality. The first section, the collapse of the public universality. So the ideal society will be attained. That society, so liberty and equality of human beings, realized. So in this way, so enlightenment and justice makes progress, and that means the westernization of the world, whole world. But in this way, in the case of Japan, as you know, in the 1868, they had Meiji Restoration, and after that, we had the war, and 1948, the end of World War II. Recently, so this modern Western nationalism universality is becoming so very questionable. And also the conflict in the East Asian, so Korean, Japan, China, and, as you know, there is a great conflict, and it is a great problem how to solve this problem. And so next thing. So, in this case, if the Western philosophy is not sufficient, we have to ask if there is a possibility in the non-Western philosophy. But at this time, the problem arises. So as you know, John, I think it would be possible to use philosophy to non-Western cultures. In this meaning, recently some books, important books were published. One is Haji Katsu's and Mara's edition, the Japanese Philosophy as Source Book. Also, think about the problem of religion. So of religion in Japanese, Shukyo, and also in the case of philosophy, they are very similar. So in Japan, so it was translated to Tetsugaku. In Korea, Chorak. Okay. So maybe that was introduced from Japanese Tetsugaku. So in Japan, the first in the Meiji period. So Western modern philosophy, the ethics was based on justice. So justice is so fair for everybody. So the same justice is applied. So justice is wrong. But betweenness or the relationality changes. So in the case, so in the one case, for one person to one person, one person to another person, so the relation changes. Established 5 basic relations. So father-son, lord, vassal, husband, wife, and the young, and so friend to friend. So in this way, these basic relations are very different. So the relation between father and son are very different. For example, between husband and wife. In this way, so the relation changes according to the situation. And in this way, so we are always in the relations. So that, for example, using the mathematical terms, function is a relation, and so x, y, z, and so individuals, so the enters always in the functional relations. This idea of Eastern relationality recently reevaluated in the Western, in particular, in the ethics in the United States. Thomas Kuss is famous of his research on Japanese philosophy. And this Kuss's idea was followed by a lot of young female philosopher, Emma Cassie. This is her book. And so ethics embodied rethinking self-food through continental Japanese feminist philosophy. In this way, so the Japanese ethics are now becoming the very recent topic for some American scholars. It is possible to expect the ethics on this idea of relationality. But I think the idea of relationality is not enough for today's ethics, because this is the problem of the other. A person with dementia, so the old person, so the old parent, so, he or she will not respond to me. He or she does not understand what I say. But so in this way, so that we have to consider some layers or some stages of the other. So I think 3 layers. So first layer, it is otherness of the living other, so that other person who cannot be understood by reason. So this is the first layer, first stage. And the second stage is the dead person. So the dead person does not respond to me. So that, for example, Japanese kami and so Buddhas, whether they have individuality or not is not decided. Individual characteristic of the dead is also will be disappeared in a long time. So in this way, so individuality will disappear in this. So when we go deeper and deeper, so first was the view of Christianity, the other Western ideas are very simplified, but I think so that this human world and so that God or the absolute being it transcends the world of some human world. Next, but in the modern world, so the God or the absolute disappears, so the death of the God. So in this way, only the human world remains. This consists of two regions. This the area of person, the relation of person to person. So this is the area of public, of the publicity, so the public sphere. And so that outside this world, these so large surface of the earth. 2011, we had this great earthquake and tsunami in the Tohoku area in Japan, and the explosion of Fukushima electric power plant, as you know. So, this is a problem. So now in Japan, the problem with nuclear generation is becoming a very large problem. So this nuclear problem sort of remains. In this problem, I'd like to introduce Tanabe Hajime's philosophy of death. Tanabe is a very famous philosopher, successor of Nishida Kitaro at Kyoto University. Death, or I think it is a philosophy of the dead. It means he said existential collaboration with the dead. He said so he uses. I'm sorry, this is incorrect. The B, not the R, but the L.
우리 송재령 원장님하고 허우성 교수님 두 분이 우선 이제 좀 중심 토론을 하게 될 거고, 나머지 모두가 또 나중에 조인하게 될 건데, 두 분께서는 오늘 그러니까 통역이 있기 때문에 시간을 굉장히 좀 압축해가지고 해야 될 것 같습니다.
일단은 후미코 교수님께서 아주 잘 본인이 의도하고 있는 관계성의 윤리에 대한 새로운 개념을 잘 제시를 하고 계십니다. 그런데 제가 보기에는 아주 가장 사회학적 입장에서 볼 때에 납득하기 어려운 것은 바로 후미코 교수님이 제시하시는 관계성의 윤리, 즉 새로운 유형의 돌봄의 윤리학이라고 하는 거, New Form of Ethics of Care라고 하는 것이, 이것이 현실 세계에서는 실현되기 어렵다. 그래서 그 부분을 읽겠습니다. 후미코 교수가 타나베 하지메의 죽음의 철학에 기초해서 중충론적 타자론의 가정에 따라 제시하는 관계성의 윤리 개념에는 주제하듯이 탈맥락적 타자지향의 윤리관이 강하게 전제되어 있다. 일반적으로 직각론적 윤리관의 대부분이 그러하듯이 이 타자지향의 윤리관의 개념에서 가정되고 있는 타자, 곧 타자를 끊임없이 집중하고 지향하는 이 윤리적 주체는 상식을 초월하는 고도의 자기통제적 자율성을 가진 또는 무조건적 책임의식을 가진 도덕적 존재로 가정되어 있습니다. 때문에 이 도덕적 주체는 때로는 타자에 대한 배려와 돌봄이라는 도덕적 열성 속에서 때로는 손상을 입을 수도 있고 때로는 죽임을 당할 수도 있는 존재가 될 수도 있습니다. 이러한 타자지향의 윤리의 양식은 우리가 역사적으로나 현실적으로 알아오고 이해해온 인간 존재가 현실 삶에서 상식적으로 전개하고 실천할 수 있는 도덕적 양식이 되기가 상당히 어렵습니다. 아주 특수한 상황이나 조건에서나 실천될 수 있는 윤리 양식일 것 같습니다. 예를 들어서 아주 극단적인 경우지만요, 종교적 순교의 상황이나 또는 개인의 열정에 기초한 무조건적 사랑의 상황이나 조건에서 발현되고 실천될 수 있는 윤리 양식일 것 같습니다. 과연 이 같은 급진적인 타자지향의 윤리성이 오늘날처럼 지극히 다원화되고 상대화되어지고 분화되어진 탈근대 사회의 시민사회에서 이것이 수용되어지고 실천되어질 수 있는 현실적 윤리관이 될 수 있을지 의문입니다.
今日解決できない問題が非常に多くなってきている、と考えられます。したがって確かにおっしゃる通り、このような事態が、通常の日常的な、生活の中で、たくさん起こるとは言えないかもしれません。しかし今日、例えばその戦争で、非常に大勢の人が亡くなったり、あるいは原子力の、事故が起こるようなそういう、かつてであれば非常に、異常であってそのようなことは普通には起こらないと思われていたような、ことが非常に多く起こるような時代となりました。
불교를 중심으로 일본 사상을 연구해온 수에키 교수님은 그 비교 사상 철학 사상의 입장에서 아주 중요한 문제를 제기하고 있습니다. 즉 서양의 근대 철학을 열심히 수용해온 황인종 남성 철학자에게 심각한 문제를 던지고 있는 것으로 보입니다. 20세기, 21세기 한국 철학자야말로 후쿠자와 유키제 타라론을 우리식대로 바꾸어서 우리 나름의 오리엔탈리즘을 열심히 실천해 온 것은 아닌가. 또 교수의 업적 평가 방식에서 영어 논문을 지극히 우대하고 있는 한국적 현실을 보면 한국은 그 타라가 더 지독해 보입니다. 그런 와중에 우리가 상실한 것이 무엇인지를 찾게 하는 발표가 아닌가 생각합니다. 세키 교수님에 따르면 오늘날의 서양 철학은 더 이상 종합적 세계관이나 인간관의 근거를 제공하지 못한다고 하시고 그 돌파구를 타자 친밀적인 태도 인류학에서 찾고자 합니다. 즉 인간의 자아나 주체